What would you do if what you thought was true wasn't?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 mistakes that were left in One Tree Hill.
Why don't you just text message me the answers?
Oh, no.
Oh man, you really suck at this, Keith. All right, get out.
Good sign or bad?
For this list, we'll be looking at continuity and editing errors in the show. If you haven't seen these episodes, beware of spoilers. What other mistakes have you noticed? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, magic coffee. As she's recovering from her hangover, Carrie pours herself a cup of coffee.
More like teetering on the edge of death.
We can clearly see that there's a decent amount left in the pot at this point. She then pours Nathan a cup as well, which nearly empties her French press. It should have ended there, but here's where somebody made a mistake. In the next shot, the coffee is back to its original level, as though she didn't just give Nate some.
Don't you need that?
I'll brew more.
We know Carrie said she would make more, but unless she's actually a wizard, there's no way she did that in that tiny 3-second window.
I think the severity of this hangover pretty much guarantees it'll never happen again.
No, that's true. Drink plenty of water.
Number 9, an ambivalent bag. At this point, most of us were too focused on Nathan and Haley's blossoming feelings for one another to notice much else.
It's probably really weird. I'm actually gonna leave.
Oh, no. I'm glad you came.
Really?
That's probably how we initially missed this error. As Haley prepares to leave the tutoring center here, she wears her bag in a crossbody style.
Why don't you just text message me the answers?
Oh, no.
When the camera pans back to her, something is off. She stands up and places it straight on her shoulder, completely disregarding her previous action. To make things worse, we subsequently see Haley's bag once again slung across her body as it originally was.
Deal's a deal, right?
Right?
Thankfully, that's where the changes stop, as she walks away shortly after. Number 8, deja vu. Who could forget that time when Nathan, unbeknownst to Haley, got involved with Dante, a shady character to say the least.
You know, thanks to you, Nathan's gonna carry the shame of this with him for the rest of his life.
And maybe you should have helped him out when he needed it.
The storyline came to a head when he hit Haley with his car before ultimately dying. As she recovers from the nearly fatal accident in this episode, Nathan brings home some soup from Karen's cafe.
Chicken noodle, extra noodle.
The first thing he does is take it out of his bag before then turning the TV off. Yet afterwards, he takes the soup out again.
How you feeling?
Thinking about reaching out to Dante's family.
This mistake was overshadowed when Haley started talking about reaching out to Dante's family, and Nathan had to tell her the truth. It's a hard one to unsee all the same.
Listen, I'm so sorry, okay? But I was scared and he threatened me.
Number 7, dubbing fail. The first season of One Tree Hill ended with the shocking revelation that Haley and Nathan had gotten married. So when the season 2 premiere rolled around, everybody was curious to know what had happened.
Nathan, couples don't get married in high school. It's not normal.
So? I'm not normal. What I'm feeling is definitely not normal.
We got our answer and a pretty funny blunder with this flashback sequence. As the couple lays in bed together, Nathan effectively proposes. Haley's reluctant and they begin discussing it. Pay close attention as she utters the words "maybe so" during their conversation.
Is this about sex? Because I want to wait.
No, I could see you caving on that one already.
Well, maybe so.
That's right, she's not actually talking. It may have been slightly less noticeable if Haley's mouth was moving, even to say a different set of words. But they didn't just change the dialogue. They added some in studio, making this mistake pretty obvious.
This has got to be a joke.
It's not a joke, Mom.
Number 6, a set slip-up. After Lucas suffers a heart attack and ends up in a coma, he has a pretty interesting dream. He's visited by his late uncle Keith, who shows him a number of important things.
So you're asking if, by being a good person, have you changed anything?
You know, considering apparently I'm lying on my deathbed right now, yes. Let's take a look.
Most notably, they visit Tree Hill High, where Keith was murdered, and he encourages Lucas to remember that day.
But why are you showing this to me? I don't want to see it.
We gotta talk about what happened here, Lucas. There are things you need to know.
When they first entered the school, there's a brief moment where the set is visible. You just have to look up at where the ceiling should be to see it. You could technically argue that everything here is just Luke's imagination at play, but that feels kind of like a stretch.
Oh man, you really suck at this, Keith.
All right, get out.
Instead, somebody angled the camera a smidge too high, giving us a view we were never supposed to have. Number 5. The Rogue Scarf. An important discussion point in the 3rd season of the show is college. Specifically, Haley and Nathan have different dream schools, and they have to figure out what to do.
So I've been doing some research, and Duke has an amazing basketball program. I mean, their coach, this guy, Coach Kraszewski, he's like a legend.
Haley shows up to his house and declares that she'll go to Duke with him, but he shuts the idea down.
Duke's a really great school, and I think I could be really happy there, especially if I was with you.
Well, you can't go to Duke, Hales. And I don't want you to.
Before he can explain that it's because he wants to go to Stanford with her, she starts getting ready to leave. That's when her scarf takes on a mind of its own. It goes from being fully open to tied and back again more times than we can count as the power flickers off.
Good sign or bad?
It ends up being a sweet moment between the couple, but we'll never look at scarves the same way again. Number 4. Changing shoes. In the season 4 finale, everybody goes to a party to celebrate the end of high school. Before they decide to head over, we see Haley in white heels at home.
FYI, if either of you ever calls me grandmother in public, I'll use my gun.
This may seem insignificant, but bear with us. Later on at the event, the girls start dancing to the Spice Girls. Look closely at Haley's feet during this segment. Her shoes repeatedly alternate between sneakers and heels.
If you wanna be my lover, you gotta get with my friends.
The 2 pairs of footwear are similar enough in color, but that's about the only thing they have in common. Granted, the perfectly choreographed dance is so fun that not many people focus on Haley's shoes while watching the scene, but it's a significant mistake nonetheless. Number 3. Mismatched death dates. We all saw Jimmy and Keith die on the same day, within mere minutes of each other. It was literally the focus of one of the show's most intense episodes.
What happened to us? That we now send our children into the world like we send young men to war.
Apparently, somebody behind the scenes forgot this because when Lucas goes to the cemetery, their headstones tell a different story. As he lays some flowers on his uncle's grave, we can partially see Keith's death date. While we can't fully make out the month, the tombstone states that he died on the 23rd.
Thanks, Keith.
Immediately afterwards, Luke stops by Jimmy's grave, which clearly indicates that he died on March 1st. Both graves got the year right, but that's pretty much it. This seems like a blatant oversight considering these deaths were a major plot point.
What would you do if what you thought was true wasn't?
Number 2. The Undecided Hairdo. When Haley is placing legendary musicians' names on a map in Karen's cafe alongside Chris Keller, her hair is down. But in the next shot, it's suddenly in a ponytail.
I wonder if it's possible to unmeet a person.
Maybe you're thinking she tied it really quickly between scenes. Except it's not just that one little change. Haley's hair repeatedly switches between loose and tied back as she and Chris interact.
Take Eric Clapton. All of his best songs came from pain and longing. Got Layla, about his best friend's woman. Tears in Heaven for his son.
Thank you for the pep talk.
She's in the frame for the majority of the conversation and never goes to switch up her hairstyle. In other words, there's no excuse here. Towards the end of the scene, her locks finally stay down, but it's too little too late by then.
I do not belong up here.
If you stop running from your emotion and start writing about it, one day you might.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Baby Bump. Most One Tree Hill fans will agree that Pictures of You is one of the series' best episodes. As our favorite characters pair off and roam the school to complete their assignment, we learn a lot. One of the best parts is that we get to take a deeper look at Haley and Skills' friendship.
Today, I got reacquainted with just Haley, my good friend.
While they're confiding in each other on the roof, there's a moment that stands out. As a pregnant Haley stretches, we clearly see the fake baby bump actress Bethany Joy Lenz is sporting.
Oh man, I would love to play music for a living, but if that doesn't happen, I'll still be happy.
Most of us know that the actress herself wasn't pregnant then, and understood that the belly wasn't real. Still, this moment really shatters any illusion they'd created.
I just think about my son, and it scares me because I don't ever want him to feel like he doesn't belong.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.